So today's topic, Dave Chappelle's new comedy special. Now, if you haven't heard, Dave Chappelle has come out with a new comedy special that came out on Netflix, and it's been pretty much drawing a lot of criticism as well as a lot of positive reviews. Obviously, with the last couple specials that Dave released, he got a lot of flack from the LGBT community as well as other liberal medias who said, hey, Dave, you're looking a little right-wing. We feel your views are a little extremist. We don't like it. But now coming into this one, everyone was curious what direction he was going to go. And you could tell that for Dave, he wanted to make it clear that he wasn't going to back down just because criticism was coming his way. And what made that clear for me wasn't just the content, but also if you look at the intro. It starts off with a couple of Kendrick Lamar quotes.
Yes.
And then if you listen, he uses a Prince song, 1999.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the lyrics, I'm going to just read off the lyrics for you guys. The sky was all purple. There were people running everywhere, trying to run from destruction. You know, I didn't even care. Say 2000 party over. Oops, out of time. So tonight I'm going to party like it's 1999. Because if you remember, 2000 was supposed to be the end of the world.
Yeah, the big bug and everything.
Right, that was when Prince wrote this in 1985, that song. And 1990 was supposed to be the last year that we were going to be able to be alive because the year 2000 was going to be the one. And so when Dave is setting this up with the whole sticks and stones thing, basically what he's saying is that he recognizes that his words and what he's going to say, it might mean the end of what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right? But he's going to go in and he's going to party like it's 1999 because he doesn't give a fuck. He's going to stand by his guns. And even calling it sticks and stones is really just a jab at saying, hey, man, you guys are going to come for me. But recognize these are just words. They can't actually harm you. So that was kind of the setup to let you know, okay, this shit's about to go in. Get ready for it. We're going to read through some of the criticism. The first one being from BuzzFeed News.
Right there.
What's the most embarrassing public statement you've ever made that you've had to walk back? As a Sagittarius and a former conservative evangelical Christian, a quite...
You good?
I'm good.
All right.
So as a Sagittarius, it's crystal clear bandwagon bullshit that's only being brought up because while he isn't supporting Trump outright, although when discussing what he'd do if Trump won again, Dave Chappelle said, I'll get a big tax break. That's obviously a joke.
Yes, that's a joke.
He will get a tax break.
Man, those people do not get irony. If you don't like that shit, don't watch that shit. That's one of the first things he said. You pressed on his face. You knew what the hell you was getting into. You press on his face, then you get offended. It's like me putting my hand in fire and then get pissed off at the lighter because I got burnt. That makes no sense. Now you're just going to be like this.
I wonder what...
Ow! God damn it. Fucking lighter. See how dumb you look?
He effectively becomes an example of someone who doesn't give a fuck about any issue to do anything but speak his mind. I mean, listen, that's not true. He endorsed Democratic candidate Ben Jealous.
Why are you endorsing him when you don't usually get involved in endorsing candidates?
The idea that Dave Chappelle has never wanted to be involved beyond his words is not true. It's not because you don't see it that it's not happening. Dave is very involved in town halls in his small town of Ohio.
So I am trying to be balanced and fair. But what I did want to know is what is this pool of law enforcement that you can pull a chief out of that is special enough to police this town, which is wildly weak. So I would beseech the council to look deeply and to look hard because, this is a golden opportunity. Literally, you could kill the game. In this Trump era, this is an opportunity to show everybody that local politics reigns supreme. We can make our corner of the world outstanding. So I'm just begging you to find a candidate that matches the culture of this town, which is incredibly unique. Which is renowned for being incredibly unique. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Dave. Dave is a very involved person. He's just not all up on social media. So he may not be the Kaepernick of the social movement. He may not be, Jay-Z, I'm working with the NFL type of partnership. But he's doing a lot of stuff that you don't know because you haven't done your research. A lot of people have these platforms. Doesn't mean that you should be doing the writing. All the worst white people love Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones. The worst people liking something doesn't make that thing necessarily bad, right? Some of the worst white people, as you put it, does that
shit is delicious. So that's not even that's not a case.
Some people are getting mad because a lot of far right right-wing people are loving this special. You know, the reason why they're loving this special is because the left has engaged in these boycotts and this banning of speech for so long that when they see an artist actually mocking and skillfully making fun of those communities, what they see is justice. Because for so long, people haven't been allowed to make these jokes. Now they're like, oh, yo, here's an artist who's making fun of everybody. And so, of course, these right-wing fingers are going to prop him up because you guys have engaged in silencing so many voices for so long that now when someone doesn't listen to you, the right's going to be like, fuck yeah. And here's the other thing, right? Somebody said, why are you punching down against trans people, okay? Listen, I need this to stop. This trope that the alphabet people are somehow this weak community of people who have no influence.
They're not.
You see the way that they got Kevin Hart removed from the Academy Awards. You see the way that they can...
You got canceled, I got canceled.
But that's a different story for a different day,
Okay.
right? They get a lot of people canceled from a lot of different events. People's careers are ruined just because they levy criticism against them. And so this idea that the alphabet people are somehow these weak people who have no political power and no clout is wrong. And so if I as a black person can take jokes about black people, then you as a trans person should also be able to accept jokes about you. You say it denies your humanity. It's not denying your humanity. It's just realities of your existence that are funny. And you know, whenever we have disabled people at shows, right, one thing they always ask us is like, yo, don't treat me differently than the others. If you're gonna make a joke, make a joke. Don't make me feel excluded or I'm some kind of protected class. I don't know when it comes to trans people why they feel like any joke against them is absolutely unacceptable. That means to me that you guys don't actually want to be treated equally. What you guys want is preferential treatment. What you guys want is power and control. You want to be able to control other people's speech through boycott, shame, and you want to make sure that they talk the way that you want. It's interesting because oftentimes the most controversial of topics, because there's tension around them, right? Because there's so much, I can't talk about it. When a comedian is able to cut through that and actually discuss the topic at hand, you know, when the punchline is delivered, the laughs are even louder. The reaction is even bigger. The appreciation for the comedian is even larger. Why? Because all that tension that built up from this taboo subject is now being released through the punchline. And that's the benefit of being able to tackle these topics. If you always go for what's safe and what's easy, people are not going to find that interesting. We don't go to fucking skate parks to watch Tony Hawk skate back and forth. We watch him because we want to see him do a cool move. The majority of us watch sports to watch people do the most extremist stuff. So it would make sense that when I watch a comedian deliver a joke, I want him to talk about the most extreme of topics in the most extreme, skillful ways.
It's a good special to me. Did I laugh? Fortunately, I don't laugh at comedy anymore. I'm dead inside. The reason being is I don't laugh as often as I was laughing when I first started to do comedy, because now when I listen to a comedy, I'm working. I'm learning. I'm in school when I listen to comedy. So,
if you guys aren't aware, both me and Preacher stand-up comics who do this full time.
Yes. So since I started doing this full time and since I started doing this comedy thing, I don't laugh as much. See, there's a difference between me when I was laughing before at comedy. Wow, that's funny.
And now as a stand-up comic,
that's funny.
100%. And it's just like a chef. When a chef tastes another chef's food,
it's
he's
like,
analyzing all the flavors and all the ingredients put in.
Yeah.
We understand the importance of cadence, timing, storytelling, inflection, everything. So we're analyzing.
So me laughing at something is not a good indicator of whether I like something or not. Because I'm always trying to find the thing, you know what I mean? I'm trying to find all the spices and everything and stuff and deciphering how he did that. I'm trying to predict the next punch, and if I predict the next punch, I'm disappointed. Ooh, spicy. I was not expecting that. Good job. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I would give it like a solid 8.75.
So I'm a pretty tough critic when it comes to comedy specials. I'm very familiar with Dave Chappelle's works. I've watched quite a lot of his specials, pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
And I would probably say I'm going to give this special a 10. It was the first special that I saw in a long time that felt special.
Yes.
That was my entire point. You know what I mean when people say, I'm going to put on a one-man show, a 1 hour long show. No, nigga, you got a bunch of 15-minute shows that you put together. but it's not a real 1 hour show.
not a special.
You got 15-minute episodes and you put it together into a movie. But it doesn't mean it was an actual movie. And that's why this one's very memorable for me, because I'm going to remember a lot of the bits that came out of this one. And at the end of the day, even if I didn't laugh throughout the whole thing, what really matters with any piece of work of art is the impact it had on you as a viewer. Because I've been to comedy shows where I've laughed throughout, but I don't remember a single punchline that person did. Right? Right? Because sometimes the laughs are there and you can see where the funny is, but it doesn't mean it really hit home. With Dave, not only did I get a couple of laughs, but I really got a couple like, ooh. And guess what? The oohs are just as good as ha-has.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
The who's
Because
as good as the ha-has.
Because you don't just go to comedy shows to laugh. You go to comedy shows to feel. You go to comedy shows to witness absurdity. And honestly, if it can make you react, that means that artist has said words that hit you right in your gut, that hit you somewhere where it matters, and that it reminds you that, yo, nigga, I'm alive right now. And that's what we go to comedy for. I think he's the greatest storyteller stand-up has ever seen. When I watch his specials, I don't always get that sensation, but with this one especially, I felt like there was a reward for watching it in its entirety in one sitting. I felt like because I did, I got a payoff at the end. And I felt like what he started with was going to matter with what ended. That every theme he aborted, that every theme that he touched was relevant to the entirety of the special itself. And that's what made this special so great. I've seen Dave Chappelle deliver better jokes. I've seen him deliver far more punchlines. Some of it was a little predictable. But I honestly also think that the reason why it wasn't so punchliney with some of his jokes was purposeful. Because sometimes when you are trying to make a point and have a funny point at the end, sometimes you go overboard with the punchlines just to really drive home the laughs with the audience and really drive home the reaction. I think with this one, when he would say something that he knew was going to hit home for the audience, he wanted it to sit there.
Yeah.
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That was the whole point of Dave Chappelle's thing. We hope that our speech didn't bother you too much. We hope that
it did.
Maybe for some people, you know.
Look at you with the lube. Look at you with the lube.
I mean, I want to make impactful episodes. You know what I'm saying?
Look at you with the special.
You know what I'm saying?
The YouTube special.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
With that demonetized money. I got some demonetized money here.
So that's it for today's episode. Leave your comments below. Tell us what you thought about the special, some of the reactions to it. We want to hear what your favorite bits were in the comments below. And yeah, peace.